Hello, welcome. Welcome to Daily Recovery Support. Actually, this isn't Daily Recovery Support. This is hello, welcome. Welcome. This is the global community for adults who are healing CPTSD. My name is Athena, and we have all been gathering here weekly for about 10 years now. And when I first started our time together today, I said, welcome to Daily Recovery Support, because that is what we do through the Foundation for Post-Traumatic Healing and Complex Trauma Research. And this channel, CPTSD Foundation YouTube channel, is sponsored by CPTSD Foundation, the Foundation for Post-Traumatic Healing and Complex Trauma Research. So I warmly welcome you. It's great to be here with you. If you clicked on this resource and you clicked on this video and you're new here, I want to warmly welcome you to our community. As I mentioned, my name's Athena. We've all been joining here and showing up together weekly for about 10 years. And we are so grateful that you have decided to join us. 10 years is a long time for us to be on this journey together, side by side. Everything shared on this YouTube channel is from a peer support perspective, from a lived experience perspective. And we show up here every week, and we have our moderators, our Blue Wrench crew. Thank you to John Harvey. Thank you to Ninja Taco, Vi, Kira, anyone else who may join us. And we check in with one another. We share what has been working for us in our healing journey, and we share some of the things that haven't been working with us in our healing journey. So what we've been doing over the last several months is we've been showing up here with a theme every week. This week's theme is welcoming gentleness. And our journal prompt that we have for this week is, what does welcoming gentleness look like for you? And we have our breath work that we will do together today. We'll just be sitting with our breath. We're going to be doing our breath work today in conjunction with Dr. Ariel Schwartz and some somatic work. We also have our meditation written by Morgan Harper Nichols. Her artwork is what you see up on the screen every week. We have our Loving the Self affirmation written by Lisa A. Romano. And we also have a quote from Young Pueblo's most recent book titled The Way Forward. And everything will be in this theme of welcoming gentleness. So I would love to know what welcoming gentleness looks like for you. And again, thank you so much for being here. I want to pause and warmly welcome those who have joined us and those who may be here for the first time. Hello to you. I'm waving back to you, Jeffrey Sherman. Hello to you, John Harvey. I had some cake this week, and of course I thought of you. It wasn't chocolate cake, it was angel food cake, but still, I thought of you. Hello to you, Mary, and hello to you, Lisa. So good to be here with you all. Hello to you, Poppy. Poppy says, Poppy Pittinger. Poppy says, first time, excited. We are so glad that you're here with us. And hello to you, Megan. So good to see you. It's been a minute, right? Really glad to have you back. Really glad to see you. Hello to you, Emily. Oh, Emily says, sad and lonely day. Glad to be among John and Lisa and Athena and Jeffrey and chocolate cake and all. Emily, we are right beside you. You are surrounded by 10 other people, and we're all glancing at you with compassion. We're all sitting beside one another. Warm welcome to you, AJ. So good to have you with us. Okay, so my invitation for each of you is to get as comfortable as possible. We're going to be doing some slow breathing together, along with Dr. Ariel Schwartz today. Warm welcome to you, Betsy. We're so glad you're here. The invitation here is for each of us to maximize our comfort. What does that look like for you? We're welcoming gentleness this week. Our journal prompt: what does welcoming gentleness look like for you? Hello, Miss Kira. I was just talking about you behind your back. Were your ears burning? It's so good to see you. I'm waving back at you and sending you hugs and love. Aw, Jeffrey Sherman, I am glancing at you with compassion, always. I'm sitting right beside you. So again, the invitation is for us to just get 1% more comfortable than we were a moment ago. For me, what that looks like is having a glass of water and just preparing to spend some quality time with each of you. So think about our journal prompt while we prepare our breath work today. We're going to start with our breath work. We're going to do that with Dr. Ariel's compassionate healing strategy. It's going to be an extended time of breath work. I just reclined my chair just a little bit more so that I could get just about 3% more comfortable than I already was. So as you're getting comfortable, I want to invite you to close down the eyes if that feels comfortable for you. You can also keep them open. You can chat amongst yourselves in the chat box, or you can participate in our breath work with Dr. Ariel and our compassionate healing strategy this week. We're focusing on releasing tension in the body in some of the most common areas where trauma is held in the body. And she's going to walk us through on that. Okay? So let's get a nice big stretch. Reaching our arms up, wiggling our fingers, rotating our wrists, wiggling our toes, and remembering to breathe. Dr. Ariel's invitation for us today in this healing strategy, what she's offering us here is an opportunity to release some physical tension by inviting us to focus our attention on some of the most common places that trauma gets held in the body, specifically if we have experienced childhood trauma, which if you're here on this channel, chances are that's you. Maybe not all of you, but a lot of us. So again, as with all of the healing strategies that Dr. Ariel offers and invites us into on a weekly basis, it's really important for us to explore this practice today slowly and mindfully. Really being aware to remain in the body as much as possible. And let us remember that we can always take a break if it gets to feel like it's a little bit too much for us, if we start feeling a little overwhelmed, or if a healing strategy or a particular area of tension doesn't resonate with us. Okay? We don't have to do all of this. This isn't an all or nothing. Okay? These are just opportunities for us to breathe together. Focusing on the areas of our body that may carry the most tension from childhood trauma. We're going to go through one area of the body at a time. Just remember, you can always listen to this later if it gets to feel like it's a little too much for you. You can come back to this replay. It will always be here for you. It'll be labeled July 1st, Welcoming Gentleness. And it will look like the beautiful painting you see on the screen. So here we go. So in this practice, we're going to bring our hands over a specific area of the body, and we're going to focus our breath beneath our hands. And this is going to help us become just a little bit more aware of the sensations in that area of the body. Okay? Now, secondly, as we place our hands on whatever area of the body we're focusing on releasing the tension, what we're going to want to do is just pause and acknowledge any emotion that might come up as we are remembering to breathe. When we do this, we might begin to notice that our body begins to shake or tremble. Many of you remember Svava Brooks, who spoke at our second annual CPTSD Awareness Day. And she guided us through tension and trauma release exercises. It's very similar to that. When the body begins to shake or tremble. So if during our time together today, anything like that happens, it's really important for us to follow any movement impulses that help us to release the tension. So what do I mean by that? Well, if we're focusing on our throat and our neck and our jaw, and we're breathing into that area. And let's say we start to shake a little bit, but we feel the urge to, rather than touch our jaw or our throat or our neck, we feel the urge to raise our hands up or to get up and walk across the room. Whatever that impulse may be, it's really important to listen to the body. Okay? It's really important for us to honor our own unique experience. So let us begin remembering to breathe. We're going to place our hand up near our jaw. Tension in our throat or our jaw can sometimes be connected to times in our healing journey when we didn't feel that we had the opportunity to speak our truth. So if there is a sound that matches a feeling of tightness in your jaw, let us explore how it feels to open and close our jaw. And if we can give ourselves permission to use our voice right now to make a sound, what would that sound be? And remember, it's impossible to do this wrong. If you don't feel like there's a sound that needs to be spoken, then simply be with the breath. We're gently going to reach back to our shoulders. And we're going to touch our upper back and our shoulders, remembering to breathe. So any tension in our shoulders or upper back, this could be related to carrying an emotional burden or feeling like we need to hold the weight of the world. So remembering to breathe, what would it feel like for us to let these burdens go? Now remember, this week's theme is welcoming gentleness. So let us gently glance and consider what it might look like to let all of our burdens go. So if you've been feeling stressed about your to-do list, perhaps you can just pause and acknowledge all you have accomplished, all you have done. And maybe for just a moment, remembering to breathe, consider that it is enough. Everything you have done is good enough. Remembering to breathe, gently bringing our hands down to be with the breath and our heart and our lungs. So this tension that we may feel in our chest, our heart, our lungs, this can sometimes be connected with feelings of loss and grief. And perhaps if we have losses and hurts that we've been holding, is there one specific loss or pain that may need our attention today? And if so, could we gently breathe in a way with our hand near our heart space that could move this emotional tension out of our heart space? Next, we have our belly. Tension in the belly. Gently placing our hand near our belly. Usually the tension that's held in the stomach, the intestines, and the belly. This can correspond with events in our lives that have been really difficult to emotionally or mentally digest. So, feelings of nausea or disgust, it can be an indication that our boundaries were invaded. Remembering to breathe, let us notice how our body responds when we reflect upon an experience that may have not felt safe or nurturing. Let's explore how our body feels. If we can recall just one time when maybe we did feel cared for, like we do when we're here together in this space. And last part of our breath work, let's reach our hands down to our side, near our lower back and our hips. Remembering to breathe, let's glance at any tension we may be holding in our lower back, or our hips, or even our pelvis. And this type of tension can be connected to feelings of fear. So perhaps we feel as though we've been living in survival mode. Or perhaps we were unsure about our right to exist. So as we remember to breathe into these areas of our lower back and our hips, let us focus on the cues that remind us that right here, right now, in this moment, when we're here together, we are safe. We are safe. And we are here in this space together. Slow breath. Well done. Beautiful breath work today. Remember that this work we are doing is not a quick work, it is a gentle work. We are learning how to let go of decades of repeated relational trauma, perhaps oppression, dysfunction, neglect, abuse. Please remember that this doesn't happen all at once. It is a gentle work. It happens little by little. All of our old pain as we're doing our breath work, it comes up into the body, and each time we exhale and remember to breathe, that old pain has just a little bit less impact and power over us. This work we are doing is a gentle work. It's so important for us to be gentle. We are unlearning old patterns. We are learning how to live lives that do not include daily struggle. And the only way to do this is slowly and gently. We are allowing old layers of trauma to be released and dissolved off of us. So we're going to transition now into our meditation by Morgan Harper Nichols, all about welcoming gentleness. Morgan is reminding us this week that we are always free to begin again. Our story is not over. So as we begin a new month and a new season, the second half of 2024, Morgan says, when we approach the end of a month or a season, it can feel like we are nearing the end of one chapter of our lives. And as a result, we may find ourselves reflecting on everything that occurred at that time. We can reflect on what has occurred globally or locally or within our own homes and within our own hearts. And we may try to imagine what's to come. So whatever your reflection looks like right now, I hope you know it's okay if you can't sum up the month of June in a few words or a single narrative. If something happened last month, something unexpected, and you're still feeling confused or worried about what may be next, may you remember that even if this is a major turning point in your story, there is room for you to move forward at a gentle pace. There is a reason why in a good story, when the plot thickens and the author will offer the smallest details to make the scene more real. And in many ways, these details bring us into the present moment. Details in stories invite the reader to be in the moment with whatever the character is feeling and experiencing. Even when the character is in despair, descriptions of how warm their face felt or how cold the room felt. These serve as reminders that this scene is more than just words on a page. It is meant to reflect a real life human experience. A human experience that isn't about making sense of everything at once, but about recognizing the temporal, tender, and complex nature of human life. We fall in love with so many characters and stories, not when everything is going perfectly and they're effortlessly moving through life, but when they are in these more tender moments that remind us of our own humanity. I hope you know that the same tender heart you may have for a character in a book, a movie, or even the other characters in your life can also be extended to yourself. Now, of course, it will be more difficult, but it is worthwhile to consider that when you look back on this chapter, this June 2024 chapter of your life, you will be able to see all of the different ways you were present, all of the different things you learned, and how we were here in this space together. You learned so much along the way, and how through it all, you're learning to be human, slowly and gently, wrapped in endless, boundless grace. I love Morgan, you all. I know I say that every week, but she just nails it, you know? She really does. I feel so grateful for the ways in which she chooses to show up in the world. So we have our Loving the Self affirmation with Lisa A. Romano, and then we will end with our young Pueblo quote from his most recent book, The Way Forward. Remembering that this is a gentle work and that we are welcoming gentleness. Lisa says, I know that negative self-talk isn't even mine. Negative self-talk is the result of faulty childhood programming, conditioning. And beneath my conditioning is this magnificent creature, me. And for today, when I hear my negative self-talk, which I will, I will do my best to remind myself that it's all a lie. Faulty belief systems can be unlearned, and I am learning to think and feel more appropriately in relation to myself. I am worthy, and I always was. Slow breath together. Just checking in with you. Just hoping you were able to experience a yawn, a parasympathetic release today. And within our theme for the week of welcoming gentleness, Young Pueblo on page 75 of The Way Forward, he says, letting go is not always quick. Often, it happens little by little. Like when an old hurt comes up, and each time it has slightly less power over you. Or when an old pattern reappears and the struggle to say no to it slowly becomes less intense. Old layers take time to dissolve. Gently. Welcoming gentleness. Really, really grateful. Really grateful for these moments where we can be intentional about welcoming gentleness. Thank you all so much for choosing to be here this week. Really grateful. So, over in our community, away from social media, you can join us every day. Otherwise, I'll be back here with you next Monday and every Monday. But in the meantime, please be extra kind and patient and gentle with yourself, because you're worth it. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Good night, everyone.